the negotiating tools that they'll have, they'll say, listen,
Let's get to Jim Armstrong right now. Jim?
The whole dynamic here has changed, guys. Everything is different now. There was a ripple of applause just about 2 minutes ago. It started with the police officers and responders who were closest to where the suspect was believed to have been. It spread closer to us. It was a wave of applause. It was subdued, but a wave of applause came back this way. Some people started cheering, and everyone's walking away. All those officers who I was describing to you for the past 90 minutes, rigidly focused on that guy with their attention and their weapons. Their demeanor has changed, their stance has changed, and in many cases, they're walking away. They're coming back towards us.
Now, do we know that this is because he's dead, or is he in custody?
I do not know. I do not. I was just actually just talking to CBS Network. They had a report that someone is in custody, but from where I am right now, I can't verify that. I can just tell you, palpable sense of relief from everyone here.
All right, so Jim, now we're getting confirmation from Karen on the scene that the suspect is in custody, and right now he is on his way to the hospital. And I'm telling you what, I don't know about you, breathing a big old sigh of relief, because this could have been a horrible situation for a lot more involved, and it's nice to see that nobody besides Knucklehead is hurt.
I mean, this is best possible news, Jim.
Dozens of police officers. I mean, we've seen them risking their lives all day with the most serious faces, doing the most dangerous work, unimaginably dangerous work. Can you imagine what it looks like to see them all release their weapons a little bit and clap? It's amazing.
Oh, that must be such
I don't know that we've ever seen that at a scene anywhere, but you can imagine their relief. One of their own killed last night, another critically wounded, and for them to be able to have this suspect alive, I mean, this is exactly what they wanted.
And I'll say this, I know that those officers can't hear us now, but I know their family members and their kids are sitting at home watching. And so to you, please pass it along to them, and this goes to you as well. Thank you very much for their service and what they have done. Hundreds of officers, state, local, and federal, have put their lives on the line to help protect us and keep us safe in light of what happened on Monday. And that event was so horrific, and there's so many people that are still trying to come to grips with that, and that'll take a long time, and the healing will take a long time. But you got to move forward, you got to move past it, and having people like this in front of us to protect us, that goes a long way. So to those family members, we thank you, and please send that along to your loved ones as well.
Jim, all right, let us know what you're seeing out there now. Are the officers, I mean, there were so many, are they still continuing to stream away from that scene where you are?
Some of them are. They're lingering, but at the very least, they've released their tent positions, and they've backed away from that crouched position that I was describing to you earlier, where they were hiding behind trees or behind retaining walls. They've moved away. There were several of them, about a dozen or so, maybe 15, hiding behind a corner of a building, sort of looking around the corner. They've moved out in full view now. I mean, in an area that 10 minutes ago could potentially have been in the line of the shooter. They're now standing there without any concern.
Let me ask you something, Jim. Based on where this house is, where the boat is, and where you are, if the ambulance has not already left that scene, would it have to go by you?
No. Watertown, as you probably know, is sort of a tangle of one-ways and neighborhood streets, so I would imagine there's probably 10 different ways for them to get. I'm on the main road, right off Arsenal, but I would imagine there's another way, at least another way for them to get there.
Wow. I just tell you what, it's just a big sigh of relief. You know, they finally got this thing wrapped up. And here comes the big question now, and I'm sure this is what investigators have at the forefront of their mind. Is this it? Is it just these two guys? Is there more? And I'm sure the federal investigators are working on that right now. But for all the law enforcement personnel, they had two objectives. One was killed last night, and they just took the other one into custody. He's on his way to the hospital. We don't know in what condition he's in, but at last check, he was alive.
That's right, and they're sweeping the neighborhood now. Boston police confirming he's in custody. Let's get to Karen Anderson on the phone. Karen?
This is the news everyone's been waiting for. The suspect is in custody. You could see a collective sigh of relief coming from everyone standing around here as they got the news that he was taken into custody. This is the outcome that people had wanted. I'm told by one person that he's being taken to a hospital for injuries prior to this, which I believe would be from the massive gunfight that we all saw in the video that we have from last night. I do know that they are now going to be moving in to try to search the area, and especially to search the boat to see if there are any explosives on board. You know, so it's still an active scene. You can see Boston police continuing to pour in right here one after another, because now the teams that are checking for explosives will be coming onto the scene. But in terms of what we'd all been hoping for since that horrific moment at 2:50 on Monday afternoon, now the suspect is in custody.
Yeah, Karen, and as part of this sweep, the objective here is just to make sure there's nobody else in the area. Are you getting any sense, Karen, whether police are going to issue any kind of a statement or answer some questions here in the next, say, hour to hour and a half?
I don't, but I expect they will. I mean, this is hopefully something they will want to talk about, the successful completion of the case. You know, I expect we will hear from them. Obviously, they need to get the area secure. Public safety is still a concern, not knowing what's happened in that area, what he's been doing, you know, over since the gunfight earlier this morning. So that's the first priority. But I do believe that they will want to come speak with us. Just a hunch. But when you have an outcome, which is what they wanted, a suspect taken into custody, I'm expecting we will hear from them sometime. Lisa and Jonathan?
All right, Karen, thanks very much. And again, we saw an ambulance coming up, remember, just a while back. So we suspected that something was kind of developing with us now. And we understand. Jim, talk to us just for a second. And this is, I'm talking to our producer real quick. He talks in our ear. Is this ambulance going to be going to Mount Auburn? We don't know. All right, we don't know at this point. But again, if you're just joining us right now at 8:50 in the evening, we did get the all clear that the second suspect now has been taken into custody. He has been wounded. We don't know to the extent of his wounds. We just know that they took him into custody and he was alive at that time. There was a barrage of fire, gunfire that took place shortly. I mean, it was uncanny. Minutes after the governor and the colonel with the state police were up in front of the cameras saying they are now scaling back the search and they are lifting the stay-at-home order. Literally within seconds, it seemed like, of that, there was a huge gunfight, not more than, I would say, 10 blocks away from where they were standing. And they cornered the second suspect in the Marathon bombing case in a boat that had been winter wrapped in a man's backyard. And apparently, according to Karen, the owner of that home went out to his backyard, I guess when they got the all clear, and he spotted blood on the ground close to the boat, didn't go near it, backed off, called police. And it was that tip that apparently led them right to the boat and right to suspect number 2.